think about how we arrive in the world, how we cross the threshold, how we all begin. Quiet, calm, careful? Hell no! We enter wailing, screaming, fighting, amidst the clamor and fury, toward the light and sound. It's not about peace and praise. It's in the push and strain, the fray and scuffle. The all-out, obsessive, unceasing, relentless, ruthless, dogged, infinite, wondrous conflict between who we are and what we might be.
Welcome to Tampa. Slightly mild, but extremely wild inside Raymond James Stadium for this college football playoff national championship presented by AT&T. And tonight's rematch of last year's classic between, again, the top two teams. Number one, undefeated Alabama, 14-0. And number two, Clemson. Both teams dispatching their semifinal opponents in dominant fashion to earn their way back to Tampa in this rematch for the championship. Hard to argue these are the two best football teams. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Samantha Ponder, and Tom Rinaldi will join us. Can the sequel equal last year's classics? The ingredients are certainly there. Plenty of subplots and also some fresh faces on both sides.
Yeah, this is the game that I think a lot of people thought in August we had a chance to see. Clemson with DeShaun Watson coming back with a lot of good playmakers around him. And, of course, Alabama with Nick Saban, who seems to always have a shot to get here. So when we left that stadium last year in Glendale, we kind of wanted that fifth quarter. Well, we're about to get another ball game here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Bama trying for a fifth title in 8 years. Clemson trying to climb to the mountaintop for the first time in 35 years. One of the new wrinkles, Lane Kiffin, who called the plays very successfully for the last 3 seasons, watching tonight in Boca Raton. He'll take over as FAU's head coach. Saban parting ways with Kiffin, bringing in Steve Sarkisian, who was going to call plays next season. But now Kirk, with a week to prepare, this veteran coach is going to guide this offense. Hasn't done it in a couple of years, call plays.
Yeah, unprecedented to see him in this situation, how he handles it. It's one thing for the 8 or 9 days building up to it. But tonight, when there's peaks and valleys emotionally, how does he handle his young freshman quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who isn't coming off his best game? In fact, the entire offense struggled against Washington. So you're going to see them try to do some things that can settle the quarterback in. The biggest thing is get his playmakers on the outside involved early with some quick passes. Calvin Ridley, here, Ardarius Stewart, number 13. They've got to be able to get him the football. The other thing is be decisive in the quarterback run game. At times last week, Chris, he was sluggish and slow and deliberate. Tonight, he's got to be decisive, make quick decisions, and his best running is on the outside on the perimeter. And what's great compliment to that outside running game is Bo Scarborough in the middle. The physicality, what he was able to do last week against Washington, over 100 yards after contact. He'll have to be able to do that to take some of the pressure off of Jalen Hurts. But to me, this defense that this offense is trying to go up against was Sarkisian, most aggressive, most attacking defense that maybe they've seen all year. So it's a tough challenge.
The expressions on Bulwer and Wilkins' face say it all. The theme tonight was gimme shelter. Which quarterback's going to be yelling gimme shelter? Because these two defenses combined have 99 sacks. DeShaun Watson, we're used to seeing his calm and his composure in these big game situations. Against the Tide last year, he shredded Saban's defense. Threw for 405, ran for 73, was brilliant in defeat. Came back motivated, trying to top that performance all year. At times he pressed, but again against Ohio State, Kirk, he rose to the occasion, running and throwing in big moments.
Well, this is what we really want to see, is DeShaun Watson with an opportunity to go against Nick Saban's defense. He can do so many things with the football. The most important tonight, in my opinion, will be his accuracy. This is last year against Bama. And the reason he threw for over 400 yards is because of throws like this. Pretty good coverage there by Bama, but look at the placement on the football. Can he do that tonight again and find that zone? This is the other aspect that drove Alabama crazy, his ability to improvise. Receivers covered downfield, pulls it down, nobody there to be able to take him away, and he's able to extend the drive and drive Nick Saban absolutely crazy.
Higher seed wears the home uniform, so a switch in uniforms from last year's Classic when Clemson wore the all-orange as the #1 seed. Offensive leader Reuben Foster. Is this the team that could beat Alabama? Dabo Swinney told me he thinks Clemson is the only team that can dethrone the Crimson Tide, and he felt very comfortable about his chances tonight. Alabama graduate, former national champion wide receiver and special teamer Dabo Swinney tries to beat his old school tonight. Samantha?
Well, Coach, you've talked about how big of a challenge Bama's front seven is. So what's the biggest indicator to you that your offensive line can be successful against them tonight?
Well, our past success. I mean, you know, we're 27-1 in our last 28. They're 28-1 or whatever. You know, we've played a lot of big teams, a lot of great teams. So we practice against good players. They're a great front. We got a great front. It's going to be a few plays, a few inches.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach. Tom Rinaldi, take it away.
Sam, thank you very much. Nick, a true freshman quarterback and a new offensive coordinator. What do you need to see from them to have success tonight?
Look, we have a good plan. We practiced it all week. It's time to go execute it. And it doesn't matter about all that because we've had a good week of work, and I think we're ready to go.
Appreciate the time. Go get it.
All right, thanks.
Chris?
All right, Tom, thank you. There's Sarkisian trying to exude calm in what must be an anxious moment and his 18-year-old quarterback. This is electric. A lot of fun. A fitting climax to this football season. The two best teams have muscled their way to Tampa. Eric Dieter or Darius Stewart deep for the Tide. It's a short kick. And Stewart from the 12. Cannot escape. Drop at the 25. And now we will see Jalen Hurts become just the second true freshman to win a national title. Big, strong guy, dual threat, extremely calm.
Yeah, you can see it, 6'2", 209 pounds. He is thick, and he'll run the football tonight. When he does run the ball, he's like a tailback. They'll try to get him involved in the running game, more than likely out on the edges. Or again, he complements the more physical Bo Scarborough between the tackles.
A year ago, he was the scout team quarterback simulating DeShaun Watson.
Remember, they've got to get Darius Stewart and Calvin Ridley involved early with some quick throws.
It's a pass batted down on the very first play as Christian Wilkins got into that throwing lane.
See, the thing is, Brent Venables knows that they have a true freshman quarterback, and you talk to anybody, what are you going to do with a young quarterback in this kind of atmosphere? Quick throws, try to get him to settle in. Brent Venables knows that. He's got his defensive lineman ready, aware. Wilkins goes up, knocks it down the quick throw.
Clemson defensive line so good at getting the hands up, deflecting passes tonight. There's a second down handoff to Bo Scarborough, the young back who ran right through Washington. But Clelin Ferrell, who ate the Buckeyes alive in the semifinal, makes the stop.
Ferrell is just picking up, as you said, where he left off against Ohio State. A lot of pressure, and they will attack this offensive line and this young quarterback until they prove that they can make them pay for it. They are determined to make Jalen Hurts throw the ball to win the game tonight. So they're loading up at the line of scrimmage.
Not in his comfort zone on 3rd and 11. Quick throw near side. Calvin Ridley collects it in traffic. Very little running room as Ryan Carter, the corner, shut him down, and the Tide go 3 and out.
Now the streak continues for this Alabama offense against ranked opponents. They have struggled on opening drives. This is now the 7th ranked opponent that they've gone up against. They've only had 3 first downs in those situations. In the last 2 games against Florida and Washington, 3 and outs, and now Clemson are 3 and out.
So J.K. Scott, the fine junior punter, is on, trying to boot it deep and prevent Clemson and Artavis Scott from creating good field position for DeShaun's first possession. He drives Scott back to the 20. Bama coverage seam swarms down there, and Artavis can't get away. So from the 22, here comes DeShaun Watson. He's a junior, but this should be the final game of his college career. At times, Kirk, he's put a lot of pressure on himself this season. Twice a Heisman finalist, runner-up in the game a year ago. Did he find that calm, almost flawless performance that he had last year?
That's going to be the key. And the pass rush from the defensive line from Alabama. Clemson wants to be able to get DeShaun Watson settled and in that zone with his accuracy and his decision-making with their run-pass options.
And unlike Bama, the Tigers have been very crisp and sharp early in games offensively in recent weeks. This is Wayne Gallman. They feed the workhorse running back, and he gets the edge. Physical runner knocked out at the 33. Good side if they get Gallman going early.
Wayne Gallman running with a little bit of an attitude. We know that Bama's coming in with an attitude after what DeShaun Watson did to him last year. But when Clemson gets first downs, that's when you really see the tempo crank up from Watson.
Empty backfield on first down. Watson pressured and sacked. Flooding in there was big Deron Payne, the nose guard.
And Payne is able to, this is the matchup, and this is what Clemson has got to be concerned with. Watch the hands and watch the quickness from Payne going right around Taylor Hearn. Remember, Payne is 320-pound defensive lineman. You get caught up with Jonathan Allen and Dalvin Tomlinson and Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson, Payne makes a big play here early.
They have depth, but not as much as last year. You saw Payne being spelled on the 2nd and 14. Watson flips it inside in traffic. A shovel pass to the tight end, Jordan Leggett. A flag is down.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 10, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Reuben Foster hit the quarterback, and that's the penalty.
Yeah, remember we talked about how Alabama wants to send a message? Watch 10, Reuben Foster come in here late after the shovel pass right there with a club to the head. I mean, that's why Watson was staying down. They're trying to send a message to DeShaun Watson, and it cost them 15 yards.
Ball moved to midfield. DeShaun's pretty good at shaking off that kind of stuff. Still got the ball, delivers to Scott. Clemson receivers had an excellent night blocking on the edge against the Buckeyes, but is that a tougher chore against Alabama tonight?
Absolutely. Well, these corners do a really good job of getting off their blocks, and their eyes are right now on DeShaun Watson. You know, you hit DeShaun Watson like that, you're obviously trying to send a message to this Clemson offense. But at the same time, this isn't your average quarterback. You know, you're going to press his buttons as well by doing that. And it opens up other aspects with an overly aggressive defense.
On 2nd and 9, this is Gallman stumbling forward and dropped at the 44. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Tigers don't sub, so the Tide can't either on defense. Very efficient on 3rd down.
3rd and 4 with his ability to run gives him the option of both running and passing here, depending on what Alabama shows him.
Tide rush 5, complete. Battling near the marker there as Anthony Averett stopped big Mike Williams. The spot will be very close to first down yardage.
Everett makes a heck of a play. The scouting report says that Clemson in these 3rd and shorts, they're going to go to the quick slant. He breaks on that ball, anticipating the slant, and is able to keep Mike Williams short of the first down by about a half a yard.
Averett giving away about 35, 40 pounds in that matchup with his strength. Prevents the first down, 4th and very short, and the offense on the field at the 41.
Puts Clemson in a very tough spot. Still in that shotgun against this defensive line, something that they pride themselves in.
And now Gallman and Leggett motion in. Option. Gallman. Nothing. The Tide rise up, and even though Gallman fights hard, Tony Brown got there first, and the Tide defense forces turnover.
Yeah, and Scott is blocking Fitzpatrick coming into the inside right here, and Brown's able to come to the outside. You also see Evans get a push back into the backfield. I mean, they were ready for this. They anticipated that the ball might go to the outside, and they were prepared and ready to make the play.
See if Sarkisian can call stuff to get Jalen Hurts settled in. Play action, chased by Wilkins. Excellent runner, takes off, and against man coverage, they just forgot about the quarterback who scoots down to the 35.
Clemson is a man-to-man team, and if you can get to the outside of Wilkins, then you can have room to run. Look at the coverage downfield here and here. Nobody's able to account for the fleet-footed quarterback, and he's got room to run.
After the 20-yard run, Alabama plays with some tempo. Scarborough plows forward for 4. They call that a win on first down. If they can get a 4-yard gain or more, that's a win on first down, says Saban.
Yep. Steve Sarkisian is right now, as we speak, just kind of settling into this game as his play caller here in his first game with Alabama calling plays.
Play action again, quick penetration. Quarterback knocked down, and 2 flags come in. Clelin Ferrell, who was J.T. Barrett's nightmare last week, got in early.
He got his hands into the face of the quarterback after he threw the ball.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. Blow to the head. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic.
So each defense, Kirk, has tried to send a message and taken 15 yards.
Yeah, Ferrell's just trying to get his hands up. He obviously bats the ball down, but the right hand, opposite of the hand where he bats the ball down, gets up into the face of Hurts and costs the Tigers 15 yards. And now Alabama all of a sudden deep in Clemson territory.
Ball spotted at the 20. On first and 15. Scarborough gets the edge. Bo Scarborough cuts it back, still rumbling all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Bama. "25 yards to cap a 59-yard drive in less than a minute."
Boy, what a great block by O.J. Howard to get him to the edge. Let's see if he extends before he touches to get down. He is in the end zone for a touchdown.
And the running back who replaced the Heisman Trophy winner Derrick Henry finds the end zone, much as Henry did early in last year's championship game. The AT&T pylon cam giving you a good look. So Adam Griffith, the senior kicker, and the Clemson crowd making their displeasure known. Bama's defense makes the big stand on 4th and 1.
Exactly.
20-yard run by Hurts. The 15-yard penalty on Ferrell sets this up.
Watch Howard come around here. O.J. Howard, 88. Big block right there on the edge on the outside linebacker. O'Daniel gets him to the edge. And there's the niftiness from Scarborough. The cutback and the speed by the big fella to get it to the corner in the end zone for the touchdown.
Sarkisian and Saban and company draw first blood in Tampa. Tie breakout on top, 7-0. Scoring drive set up by a 4th and 1 defensive stop.
Well, that aggressive nature that they play with usually shocks their opponents early. It takes teams a bit to settle into a game. Alabama with that big turn of events when they got the ball back. Now not only get 7, but their confidence is now established offensively.
Adam Griffith, an excellent kickoff man. This one not as deep as most of his go. And Scott fakes the reverse and takes off. Artavis Scott held up just a bit by Griffith so the cavalry could catch up at the 45. But it's Clemson's turn to make a play.
I was just about to say, this game is still kind of settling in. But DeShaun Watson in these first few series, even though he's 5 of 6 for 23 yards, conservative in their passing game, doesn't just feel like he's involved in the running game. Like to see him more involved in the running game to make Bama have to appreciate that part of the Clemson offense.
Low snap. Watson has to battle for the ball in the scrum. Ryan Anderson's got it for Alabama. No whistle yet. The Tide have a takeaway.
Well, DeShaun Watson went back in for the ball in that scrum, and the ball ended up getting behind him, and Ryan Anderson reached down and just got it. I mean, he goes back in to be able to recover it, and it looked like he went in early enough to be able to get it. But watch the ball bounce behind him, and you can see Ryan Anderson just looks down and picks it up.
Gallman didn't see it. He was seated on the ground near where the ball was rolling around. And Anderson, one of the toughest, orneryest customers, who had that pick six against Washington, a takeaway. It's the 28th for this Alabama defense. 1st and 15. Scarborough hit and dropped for a loss. Storming in was Carlos Watkins, the old man of that group.
Well, that is outstanding. They actually slant their defensive line that way. They're moving this way. Watkins fights through, shoots a gap. And I'll tell you, he is quick at 305 pounds, able to get off of Corbin and into that backfield for a big loss.
And 2nd and 17, Sarkisian wants some tempo, but Hurts' throw is too high for Calvin Ridley.
You just talked about Clemson's defense needs to kind of step up and make some plays after that turnover. The biggest thing was the left tackle Robinson with a false start to move him back 5 yards. Next play, they get penetration for a tackle for a loss. Drop a ball there. Now you've got Alabama obviously in these 2nd and 3rd and long situations with the freshman quarterback who has not been very consistent as a passer all year.
You know, and he's only 2 for 7 so far tonight for 10 yards with 2 passes batted down. Tigers showing a whole lot of pressure. They bring the house, and Hurts chased, retreats, and just fires to the bench. Never had a chance.
That was a great call by Brent Venables to come after a quarterback with speed, with Van Smith. They bring the linebackers, they're bringing pressure, and Van Smith ends up chasing him down. When you bring the linebackers, maybe they get picked up, but you can't account for the safety. You see the speed of the safety, able to chase him down, force that errant pass, and get this 4th down play.
After the takeaway, they go backwards, and now Scott, who was very slow in his get-off. It took 2.3 seconds last time when Muse got in there and got a piece of it. He'll try to knock it dead. Very good at hitting these sky-high punts and letting the Tide coverage team run under it. And that's what he does. And that is absolutely flawless execution. After the block the last time, you couldn't draw it up better than that.
And like you said, how many times was Washington starting drives last week in the Peach Bowl inside their own 10-yard line?
Levi Wallace was the man down there who stopped it, but credit the punter. That's a sand wedge. It's hit at the 1 and just stopped.
Well, that is beautiful, and it's all about the football in college football.
Gallman, you just hold your breath when you're handed the ball in the end zone against this defense. He had to make a quick move to escape.
DeShaun Watson a week ago against Ohio State, he had a spring in his step. You know, he looked like he had an ability at any moment to pull the ball and pick up 10 or 12 or 15 yards. Off to a little bit of a sluggish start tonight when he has the ball in his hands.
A lot of smiles, a very relaxed attitude in that game. DeShaun keeps it. He is hit right at the line. I don't think he got it. A crimson wall led by DeShaun Hand held him back.
Well, that was impressive. Reuben Foster holding his own as well. Wayne Gallman trying to come out there to make a block. DeShaun Hand in there. That was impressive. Alabama not giving up an inch there on 3rd down and short.
And that defensive play ends the 1st quarter here in Tampa. The Tide allow 46 total yards to Clemson. Bo Scarborough scores the only touchdown. 7-0 Alabama. Back after these messages. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Set for the 2nd quarter at the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Trophy awaits. Will it be a 5th in 8 years for Alabama, a 6th for Saban, or a 1st in 35 years for Clemson?
Remember, early in the game, there was a 4th and 1, and they were so nervous about running into the interior, that they tried to go to the outside. Now they're into a 3rd and 1 deep in their own territory. They go back to the outside, or they test Bama where their strength is, into the teeth between the 2 guards in the center.
They got a little cute that first play call, didn't they? This one is a meat and potatoes handoff to Gallman, and they do move the sticks.
That was a much better job. That's a tough ask, by the way, without a lead blocker.
Gallman had 12 yards, Kirk, in the game's first offensive play for Clemson. That's the longest gain they've had. Very little since then.
Not only picking up a first down, but obviously getting away from their own goal line.
DeShaun runs into heavy traffic, and he's dropped. Clemson this year, when they want a big play, Kirk, they've had to go to the passing game. Very few chunk plays running the ball.
Watch here how hesitant he is about pulling out to run the ball. No, he's going to wait because it's a draw and you want to let it clear, but he doesn't have that same eagerness to want to run the football right now into that front 4. Remember, all we've heard, I feel like a little bit here early, a little rattled. All we've heard about for the last 8 or 9 days is that defensive line against DeShaun Watson.
DeShaun keeps it, picks his way for a short gain. If you're going to hesitate, the offensive linemen got to hold their blocks for a long time. Not easy.
Makes it a lot tougher to do.
Violent hands, that's what they kept talking about, Alabama's defensive front. What does that mean?
Well, violent hands mean they're strong. They're able to extend themselves in the type of defense. They play a 2-gap defense. They can extend themselves away from the offensive lineman, peek into that backfield. Meanwhile, the linebackers are attacking downhill into the backfield. So those counters and quarterback draws are tough.
DeShaun looked that way, now looks back right, way over the head of a well-covered Jordan Leggett. 4th down.
It's early in this game, but I think DeShaun Watson, because of that big hit that he took early and the way this game is going, with the Alabama defense playing with an attitude, a little chippiness, I think he's a little bit rattled. I think he's a little bit out of sync. Now, it's a long game. He could get back on track. But early, the storyline to me after 1 quarter is that Bama's not only shutting Clemson out, they've rattled the quarterback, DeShaun Watson, got him off track, not feeling as confident right now.
And that is one of the supreme compliments you can play to a defense. If you can get this guy out of his comfort zone, very, very few have been able to in his 3-year career. Teasdall, rugby-style punt, boots it low, scoots along the ground, and Eric Dieter gives it room, and it'll roll dead at the 26-yard line. So Alabama continues a dominant defensive performance. Back to work, up 7, 47 yards on the punt. Paul Bryant, in a 19-year span, won his 6 national championships, and it seemed like a moot point that he would be considered the greatest Alabama coach, perhaps the most accomplished college football coach ever, before Saban began to mount these national titles, and now can catch him tonight with number 6. It would be in a much shorter span of time. They still honor him with the houndstooth hats. I think that's great. Darius Stewart comes in motion. Wide receiver takes the handoff and is free out near midfield. A very strong and ornery player. Ball came loose late, out of bounds. Van Smith forced him, but it's a first down in Tigers territory.
He's going to come to the left, and watch how he stretches it and then cuts back. Picks up a couple great blocks on the outside by Forrestall and O.J. Howard. But by getting wide and then finding that seam and getting upfield with acceleration is nice.
He got 25 yards, and now Scarborough picks his way for a middle game.
You can see a little rhythm and a pattern to the way Sark is calling these plays, taking a lot of the pressure off of Jalen Hurts. So far, 2 of 8. Passing game has not been much of a factor for Bama. Running wide, back into the middle with Scarborough.
There's a far side throw to Ridley. Gets a block from Stewart, and Ridley scoots free. Just a shoestring tackle at the 38 by Jadar Johnson. It's a first down.
And there's just a run pass option. He recognized a blitz there from Dorian O'Daniel, the outside linebacker. He had 2-on-2 to the outside. Just pulled the ball away from the run game. Decides to throw it to the outside. Picks up big yards.
Ridley's already caught more passes tonight than he did in the win over Washington. Had just 1 catch in the semifinal. Fire to him again, far side. That time old Ben Boulware is waiting for him, and they knock him down for a very short gain.
Interesting formation with 3 receivers into the boundary, including the tight end. Was O.J. Howard's lined up that way too, trying to just get Clemson maybe a man short into the boundary, but Ben Boulware and the rest of the Clemson defense in position to hold him to a short gain.
Boulware's quote this week: "We want our revenge. We want our redemption." So far, it's Bama's defense. It looks like they want to redeem themselves for last year. Scarborough breaks free. Bo Scarborough in the clear and in the end zone again. "37 yards, pure power football."
An impressive blocking on the left side by Cam Robinson. Ross Pierce-Baker also with a big block on Ben Boulware. How about Ridley, the receiver, downfield with a big block? Entire left side does their job, and Scarborough is dangerous right now with a healthy knee when you give him room to run.
Big fellas blocking like that. Scarborough running hard makes a young quarterback's job very, very manageable so far. Jalen Hurts hasn't had to do too much, and the Crimson Tide are up 2 touchdowns now early second quarter.
Well, they are establishing the line of scrimmage. Watch the left tackle, Cam Robinson, out here. He's going to make a nice block here, and then you're going to see a double team where they work up to Ben Boulware on the left side by Ross Pierce-Baker. The timing, it takes patience. There's the initial block. Watch Pierce-Baker get a block up here to that second level on Ben Boulware. There's Ridley 3. Give him room to run. Van Smith, who's undersized at 195 pounds, not necessarily willing to come over and run support. He runs through that arm tackle. Van Smith's tackle, a stiff arm. And is that Derrick Henry running into the end zone?
Look a lot like him. Dabo says, "You're going to have to fight from behind again." But Bama throwing some haymakers early on here. Scott from the 2. Out across the 25-yard line. This is Gallman on the edge. Just one Clemson play of 10+ yards. Tom, what's the message being delivered on the Bama sidelines?
Chris, after that last defensive series, Jonathan Allen, one of the leaders, gathering those in the front around him along with Dalvin Thomas and saying, pressure and aggression, pressure and aggression. What did I tell you all night long? No let up on number 4. That's been the successful recipe so far, Chris.
Tom, thank you. Allen out at the moment as Watson flips it high, and Deion Kane's free. Kane with great speed to midfield. And the Tampa native makes Clemson's first big play of the night down inside the Tide 40.
They got the linebacker Foster out. Opens up some movement and ability to get out into the open field by Deion Kane, but it was blitzing linebackers. Evans got blitzed, was out of the way. Reuben Foster goes in motion. Wayne Gallman opens up a big game.
And now Watson loops it for Kane downfield again. A one-on-one battle. No flag. Sweeney incredulous at the non-call. Averett in coverage again.
Dabo Sweeney fired up. DeShaun Watson does a really good job of putting the ball up in the air. I think Alabama's saying maybe it's offensive pass interference.
Kane, as he was falling, did appear to put the arm around Averett, perhaps preventing an interception.
I don't see. Both these guys are kind of jostling for position. It's a good no call, in my opinion, from the officials.
Watson, slant, incomplete. Meanwhile, Deion Kane, the journey back from the embarrassment, Kirk, of being sent home from the playoff a year ago. And I asked Dabo, who do you want to have a big night? Who would you feel great for among the so many guys? He said number 8, because what he's been through made it very, very tough on him to earn his way back in the team.
Yeah, suspended right before the Oklahoma game in that semifinal. Missed the game there in Miami. Missed the championship game. But since then, has done everything that's been asked of him, and that's why his head coach would love to see him do well.
5 receiver look on 3rd and 10. Tide rush 4. Watson has time, delivers over the middle. Leggett, and Jordan Leggett with a catch down inside the 15, and now DeShaun starting to look more like himself.
Well, when Alabama goes to the safety look where they have their safeties going deep, you got to be able to split them, and that's exactly what you see from DeShaun Watson, throwing right over the top of Reuben Foster.
A 26-yard gain. You fake it to Gallman. This is Williams, spins free, and Williams shows his physical nature down inside the 10.
Not only physical nature, but toughness and willingness. After that spin, he spins right back into the middle of that defense after the hit that he suffered with Tony Brown, who kind of lit him up. He's been working his way back into the lineup to try to be a factor. And by the way, in the red zone, that's where 7 can really be a go-to guy because of his size.
And this red zone appearance down 14 feels enormous for the Tigers. Ray McLeod comes in motion. Watson bobbled the snap. It gets the edge and scores. And with little dance to cap an 87-yard drive, Tigers offense has finally shown up tonight. See if he stayed in. Yep.
Yeah, he's able to stay in. Ray McLeod, Chris, going in motion. It's the exact same play they called against Ohio State, where they motioned. The corner went with him, and Wayne Gallman got a touchdown in that game. This time they motion a receiver, take the corner out of the play, but it's DeShaun Watson who's able to get to the corner following Gallman.
9th rushing touchdown of the season for the quarterback. And Clemson in a minute 33 and 7 plays covered the 87 yards.
So you get the motion to take the edge of the defense off. You'll see the receiver go here. Everett ends up following him, which opens up that edge right there. Now you just need to get a block by the tight end. You get a great block by Gallman, and then there's the quickness and toughness by Watson. He takes a blow but stays in bounds and gets to the end zone.
And the agility to stay in bounds, keep his feet here.
And he gets hit.
This is rare here.
Yep. His momentum, everything is going out of bounds, but he kind of put his foot down and got to the corner for the touchdown. And by the way, we talk about an important drive there, down 14.
Hugo with a directional kick. It's very short. And he's taken on one of the up men there. And it's Hentis, the tight end, who muscles out of bounds.
See what Steve Sarkisian comes up with, and you see Nick Saban right in the middle of that huddle, giving his opinion on what he would like to see from the offense with 19 seconds and 1 timeout remaining with the ball in their own 34-yard line.
What do you think his opinion is? We're up by 7. Let's get to the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, you might try to find a matchup maybe on 1st and 10 just to see if you can get something where you don't have a lot of high risk for the freshman quarterback. Just kind of feel it out here on this, maybe just the first play, and if you have success, maybe you get aggressive.
Short pass.
Yep.
Stewart can't escape, and he'll be dropped for a loss at the 30-yard line by Kendall Joseph. They won't spend it, and that'll be the last play of the first half. If you look at the stats, Clemson actually has the edge in yardage. They've had the one really productive touchdown drive, but Bama flexing up front on defense, and with that man, Bo Scarborough.
From where this game was trending to where we are now after that touchdown to get it to a 1-possession game, Clemson's defense seems to have kind of settled in. And remember, they get the ball to start the second half, so now we got a ball game on our hands.
And let's get Saban's thoughts on the first half with Tom Rinaldi.
Thanks very much, Chris. You only surrendered 7 points on defense. How would you assess what you've seen offensively, Nick?
Well, a little inconsistent. You know, he broke a couple runs, but, you know, he had a couple drops, had a couple batted balls. You know, we just got to be more consistent in what we're doing. We stopped ourselves with penalties a couple times, and, you know, these guys are pretty good, so we got to do a better job of executing.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Appreciate it. Sam?
Well, Coach, your defense had some big stops late in the first half, but in your mind, what's the biggest challenge they're presenting your offense with here?
Well, we're getting our butts kicked in field position right now. We've had some really difficult field position. You got to go 99 yards against them. That's some tough sledding. So field position, first of all, we had a turnover, drop, snaps. So we just got to clean it up, and then we can't let them get comfortable running the ball. Their 2 big plays came off running downs. We got to make this quarterback throw the football. And that's the biggest disappointment. The first one, we didn't get outside and contain it. Second one, they did a nice job on the stretch play. But, hey, it's 14-7. Put together a nice drive. We're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. It's the ball game.
Still smiling. All right. Thanks, Coach.
And the plan was stop the running game, which they didn't last year, and stop the explosive plays, which they failed to do. They've done one of those 2 things, but the running game has punished them a bit.
They got to tighten up their run defense, make Hurts throw to win.
End of the first half here in Tampa. Stay tuned after these messages for the Buick halftime report. The Tide on top by a touchdown. Back in Tampa for the second half of the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Chris Fowler back with Kirk Kirkstreet, Samantha Ponder, and Tom Rinaldi. Jalen Hurts, the true freshman quarterback for Alabama, only needing 66 yards in total offense to create a 14-7 lead. DeShaun Watson and the Tigers group to get the ball to begin the second half here. And Watson, as you pointed out of sorts early. The one touchdown drive in their 6th possession finally gave Clemson a spark. Let's see if they can build on that.
I think the 14-7 lead, you really have to attribute that to Alabama's defense. They came in here with a chip on their shoulder after the performance they had last year against DeShaun, sending a message, not just defending him well, but coming out and really hitting him early. And I think it rattled him, got him a little bit out of rhythm, and he's been able to settle down and kind of get things going in a much better direction. Jalen Hurts so far, they've done a good job being in control of the game. They jumped out to an early lead. They're up 7-0, then 14-0. They haven't really asked him to do a whole lot at this point. Just kind of managing the game, not doing anything to hurt his offense and hurt himself in that first half.
Griffith's boot carries right to the goal line. And this is C.J. Fuller. The backup tailbacks for Clemson. Turns it out across the 25-yard line. So DeShaun, 13 of 23, 153. Didn't throw a touchdown pass. Did avoid an interception, but had a fumble that Alabama did recover.
I think it's
Gallman, left side, held up by Anderson, and then spun around and gang tackled for a gain of 3.
But linebackers are flying tonight. Rashaan Evans, 32. Reuben Foster. These guys are getting off blocks and getting downhill in a hurry. In fact, this defense is built with their front four because they play so much two-gap, meaning that they keep those offensive linemen off the backers. So very, very hard to run the ball against this defense.
Watson steps up, flips it to Renfro, who reaches up, makes a nice grab for a first down.
This is just an option route for a very athletic receiver, Renfro, and watch the hands here. He just kind of boxes out the bigger Evans and then goes up to make the catch for that first down. But really, really nice example of the importance of catching the ball with your hands.
5th reception for Renfro. Now on the carom as they try to get it to Williams. It's incomplete. Well covered by Marlon Humphrey.
I'm surprised that Reuben Foster did not get his hands on the football. The middle linebacker almost comes up with a big interception. Humphrey's in coverage, but watch 10 right in the middle of your screen. Pauses, then late, right there, just goes off his fingertips. Almost comes up with a pick.
Foster with a sack in the first half. Top tackler on this defense. Tide was still standing up, trying to get in position as the ball was snapped. Didn't matter. It comes loose. Anderson scoops it up and is knocked down at the 15-yard line. The second fumble recovery for Ryan Anderson. And the Tide are in business.
There's that swarming defense. Ryan Anderson actually gets his hands on the ball and knocks it out. Right there, 22. He's reaching in there to pull that ball out, and then he's just waiting for a hop to come in and swoop it up. And if it isn't for the effort, look at him right there, hands on the ball, knocks it out, presence of mind to pick it up. And if it isn't for Hunter Renfro, it's yet another touchdown for that Alabama defense.
Dabo knows the danger of turning the ball over against the Tide, and Anderson's got the belt in his hand. And the title bout hasn't been won yet. Scarborough, muscles free, and Tide reaping the benefits of Anderson's ball hawking tonight. Multiple turnovers against the Tide, Kirk. It's spelled disaster.
Yeah.
Since 2008, get this. Opponents for Alabama, when they turn it over 2 or more times, are 2 and 64 against this man's team. Clemson's now got a couple turnovers.
That's right. Just don't see it happen. You give their offense a couple more possessions and you get their defense. The defense a lot of times scores on those turnovers.
Behind the sticks now on second down, however. Hurts, pump fake. Looks it for the end zone for Ridley over his head. Brian Carter was right with him.
Yeah, great job in coverage there by Carter. They tried to get him on a double move, a little slant and go, but he stayed right there with Ridley and took away that throwing angle for Jalen Hurts. big play here after the turnover. The effort by Renfro to stop Anderson from scoring gives the defense a chance to get on the field. And now what will Hurts come up with here on 3rd down?
Play clock at 4. Does he see it? The sidelines see it. And they tried to signal a timeout. Hurts fires low in traffic. The catch is made by O.J. Howard at the 10-yard line. The coaches were thinking that he wouldn't get the ball off in time. They tried to signal timeout.
Yeah, they came running down. I'll tell you, Christian Wilkins almost had another one. Almost deflected another one at the line of scrimmage, but they pick up some yards, but not enough for the 1st down.
So the very reliable Adam Griffith, who's made 10 of his last 11, 20 of 27 on the season, from 27 yards to stretch the lead back to double digits. The very reliable snap of Cole Mazza, the hold of Cooper Bateman, and Griffith knocks it through with no problem. So here's the fumble as they rip it out of Gallman's hands, but the Tiger defense does a good job after the turnover.
And they come up with a big turnover. They start at the Clemson 16-yard line with a real opportunity to gain some momentum and go up by 2 touchdowns. And the Clemson D forces the field goal. It's a big stop by the Tigers.
And the Tigers don't turn it over. They've really been impossible to stop this season. Of course, they hadn't faced Alabama yet. But now 2 turnovers. And Fuller into heavy traffic short of the 20. Watson taken off all the way. They try to create plays on the ground for the quarterback. That's been rare tonight. Stevens stops him after about a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, every time he pulls it down to run the football, those linebackers and safeties, everybody's looking to try to lay the wood on DeShaun Watson. One thing they were determined to take away tonight was his ability to create and his mobility.
From the pocket, Watson delivers a back shoulder throw, and Kane makes the catch at the 35.
Yeah, perfect timing here with Deon Cain. You said, Chris, the back shoulder fade, and that's exactly what it is. So you can see that he's got enough time to be able to throw, and because the defensive back got upfield so far, he just throws it back, and a good adjustment by Deon Cain.
Second catch for the Tampa native. He had the big play to spark the offense in the first half, and now Renfro has been busy tonight. Scoots through heavy traffic, and the Tigers begin to get some rhythm, get 9 on 1st down.
Kind of a similar play to what we saw to Deon Cain. Kind of that tunnel screen, get the ball out to a wide receiver. Again, it's an aggressive defense. It's getting upfield. Because they're getting upfield, there's some pockets there. They've timed it up now twice pretty well, where they get the lineman out in front. He's got a little bit of a convoy there. We saw Cain with a big gain on that play earlier.
McLeod motions back in. Watson steps up and takes off, and will get a 1st down out near midfield.
It's one of the few times we've seen his ability to improvise, getting outside. He was actually looking downfield to potentially take a shot on 2nd down and short, but because it was taken away, good decision to pull it down. Bama right now with 2 deep safeties taking away the chance of throwing the ball downfield.
DeShaun still got it across the middle. It's Kane who goes down low, and it's ruled a catch at the 28.
A great effort by Deon Cain. Here comes the tempo from Clemson. He goes down to make that catch. Again, a young man from Tampa. A lot of family and friends here in the stadium.
Keeper. And a crease before another hard hit. That was Rashaan Evans closing down that crease.
Yeah, and also, again, Reuben Foster, those active middle linebackers. My point about the tempo, and that's such a big part of the Clemson offense. They get a 1st down, the jet sweep, the tempo, the variety of formations and personnel groupings. There's so much that goes into it before the snap, and when they had to stop, you lose a little bit of that momentum.
Tide brings some late pressure. Watson flushed, tries to make a pinpoint throw, but it's broken up by Minkah Fitzpatrick against Leggett.
I think Minkah Fitzpatrick in a defense that has a lot of big names he might be one of the most valuable players on this defense because of his versatility. Eddie Jackson has an injury, obviously out for the year. Minkah Fitzpatrick's able to move from corner to nickel to safety in the back. Does so many different things for this defense. And as a true sophomore, the baton is handed to him next year to be the leader of the Bama defense.
Tigers need 6 on 3rd down.
Safeties are split. Try to hit the middle of the field.
Yep, Watson sees that. Renfro's got it, cuts back, and scores! Clemson coming back. And Hunter Renfro, Kirk, at about 180 pounds, he might be 5'9½", is proving to be a Bama nemesis again tonight.
Well, he has been a great player these last 2 years and one of the favorite targets for DeShaun Watson. I said earlier, when you ask DeShaun, who's your guy? Who do you like to go to in a crucial moment? He was quick to point out to Hunter Renfro is that guy.
And Hunter Renfro with the 3 touchdowns in last year's 2 playoff games, and that one now 4 career playoff touchdowns. Nobody's got as many as that.
Here's a safety who comes down, but watch the man coverage affected by 6 coming down into coverage. Right there, he gets kind of in the way of Tony Brown, who's got Hunter Renfro in man-to-man coverage. He has to slow down. His own man gets in his way. It's kind of like a pick there because of the tight end Jordan Leggett's route. And DeShaun Watson knows all along he's coming back to his guy Renfro. And the Tigers and DeShaun Watson making things interesting, only down 3. Nick Saban trying to talk to his defense about getting back to that edge that they were playing with in the first half.
And now Ardarius Stewart from the 3. Turns the corner and is knocked down across the 30. Just 19 offensive yards here in the 3rd quarter so far. 2:02 for the game. So here's a play action. Downfield shot. Stewart trying to run underneath it, but the quarterback overshoots him, and there was 2 Tigers in the area anyway.
One of the things that Jalen Hurts all year, we've not seen him really throw the ball downfield, especially in the last 5 or 6 weeks. A lot of it's been short and underneath throws, even not quite to the line of scrimmage. You can see even after that last pass, only 2 passes in the air over 16 yards. So everything is up short, especially to the left. And that's why Clemson is really crowding those short passes and the running game.
A 2nd down short throw to Scarborough, who's hit immediately and knocked down by Tankersley. He's not really known for his downfield accuracy, is he?
But when you're not threatening a defense downfield, it allows them to squeeze the line of scrimmage and make it even tougher on your short passing game and on your running game, because instead of keeping the safeties back, you've got 11 defenders within 7 or 8 yards of the line of scrimmage. And they're playing downhill because they don't feel threatened behind them.
Alabama has failed on its last 7 3rd down tries. They need 10. From the pocket, Hurts steps up and delivers over the middle, but it's behind Garrett Dieter and incomplete.
Wow, he actually had him here by stepping up into the pocket. He buys some time and then eventually has a nice throwing lane to throw this football. Nice job. He doesn't quite get across the line of scrimmage, throws the ball low.
That should have been caught.
Yeah, Dieter could have made the catch, but the patience there by Hurts, it's just a matter of the execution that drives Nick Saban crazy there.
Dieter, the guy that had 94 catches at Bowling Green, comes here as a graduate transfer. Similar role to what Richard Mullaney did last year, but Saban right to be frustrated. Sure-handed receiver, should have had that one. Scott, after the poor punt last time, booms it deep all the way back to the 15, where Octavius Scott makes the catch. 53 yards on the punt. Stutter step and a very short gain there. Fuller.
Sometimes when you have a defense that plays so much man, I think we always get caught up in the battles like Mike Williams and the receivers, Hunter Renfro against the corners and the defensive backs. But sometimes you can make even better plays with your tight end against a safety or a running back against a linebacker.
Fuller motions back in. Tide rush for DeShaun, still pressured and sacked for a third time tonight by Mr. Anderson.
And this is just rushing 4 against a true freshman right tackle. And a combination of speed, but the upper body strength and the relentless attitude. DeShaun Watson last year got into that situation and he pulled out and took off and was able to run with the ball. Ryan Anderson, because of his hands and the way he's able to keep that offensive lineman off him and that attitude, he just eventually got to him.
He tried to strip the ball too. Wasn't satisfied with the sack. He wanted a strip sack. Again, Evans gets in there. Watson escapes, takes a huge hit. Helicopters down at the 40. The spot will be just short. Pops up Foster on the tackle. It's going to be 4th down.
Man to man, one of the, again, few times DeShaun Watson. How about the effort by him to try to pick up that first down? Once he got through that 4-man rush, Chris, everybody had their backs turned. And the way he accelerates, I thought he'd get the first down.
I did too.
But a great effort. How about Bama keeping him just short? Watch the linebackers clear out. Once the defensive front 4 doesn't get him, everybody's in man coverage. He's got room to run. But look at the closing speed by Foster and by Minkah Fitzpatrick to keep him short.
Would you say Fury? Brought some there. Remember that play. Bama stopping Watson a yard short. Teasdale's punt is a good one. Rolls dead at the 21-yard line. From the very first play, Bama's defense has been flying around with violence tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the way he accelerates, that's a first down. They keep him short, and another big hit there by the linebacker, Foster.
Boom. Just up under the chin of the quarterback, who lands very awkwardly. And takes off here, and Big Bo bulls forward for about 6. To Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, during that last defensive series, Steve Sarkisian spent almost the entire time directly with Jalen Hurts, talking to him, trying to tutor him and coach him, and trying to give him some positive energy right now. It seemed a little like the doldrums offensively. See if they can get the rhythm back.
Well, Scarborough helps the rhythm by rumbling for a first down. What did Sark tell us, Kirk? He didn't want his quarterback to overanalyze things. Try to keep it simple so he could play fast when he's more comfortable.
Yep, wanted him to play fast, and he also wanted to mix up his tempo. And this first couple plays anyway, looked like he was going to go with a faster tempo. Now after picking up the first down, they're slowing things down. Bo Scarborough obviously is down. He's battled through injuries.
Scarborough walks off. Damian Harris takes his place to the left of the quarterback. And they fake it to him. Hurts throws downfield. O.J. Howard is wide open. And once again, the tight end will victimize the Tigers with a huge play. Shades of last year. 68 yards.
And just like last year, it's a blown coverage by the Clemson defense. This time it's Van Smith.
You saw the disbelief. Tiger fans cannot believe that number 88 has gotten loose in another championship game with a huge pass play to put Bama back up by 10 if Griffith can convert the PAT. Wow. And Jalen Hurts finally produces a big play in the passing game.
But what have they been doing? Throwing short, the quick passes, get the ball out to a guy like Calvin Ridley, right? So when you give them that look, you lull the defense to sleep. Ridley's here, he steps up, comes back for the potential throw right here. That affects the defense as they come up, and O.J. Howard acts like he's going to block and then slides down the left sideline. Watch the defense get fooled right here. They're all coming up to take Ridley, and they slide the tight end Howard right down the sideline. The safety, Van Smith, bit on that potential throw to Ridley, got out of position, and it's another time that O.J. Howard and Alabama get Clemson to bust the coverage.
Hurts got more yards passing in that play than he had the entire game coming in. Artavis Scott works his way out near the 30, and once again Clemson is down by 10 as the main running threat tonight. Scarborough makes his way to the locker room. Keeper. Nothing. Heavy traffic. Foster again becoming a nightmare for the quarterback
just
tonight.
no room to run between the defensive line. Is creating that wall in the way they play defense and that two gap. They just push that offensive line back, get extension, and then the linebackers coming downhill. Tough sledding in the middle of that defense.
Screen. Kane weaves his way and dives. Well, good work to earn a first down.
Impressive effort by Deon Kane. I thought he might go out of bounds, but he just didn't give up on the play. Third time now that tunnel screen is able to get behind the offensive lineman and get some blocks downfield.
Fourth catch for Kane. Will have to step up. Williams is still out of the game. Watson's going to look for Scott. He was thrown behind him. Final minute of the third quarter now.
That's really not Artavis Scott's strength. Downfield, a little bit undersized. Typically you see him more involved in the jet sweeps and the short, quick throws close to the line of scrimmage. They've not really been able to get him on track tonight at all.
No, he's Clemson's career reception leader. Does not have a catch. Watson far side. Kane again working one-on-one. He beats Averett, moves the sticks again.
The reason you got Nick Saban frustrated here is because what Clemson's doing, you said a back shoulder fade, and the reason they throw the back shoulder is the position of the corner. He's either going downfield if he beats him, but if the corner gets in phase with him, he comes back. He's frustrated on these back shoulder fades because the receivers are pushing the defensive back off.
A lot of shifting for the Tigers here. Gallman in the backfield. They fake it to him. DeShaun looking for Gallman, then dips it off short to Leggett. And Jordan Leggett bangs down for another first down inside the 20.
He faked the ball to Wayne Gallman. It looked like he might want to go to the wheel down the sideline, comes off of it, and then finds the tight end kind of as a check down. Leggett, who gets away from the defensive back that time. Good job, good patience there by DeShaun Watson.
And good spot, Kirk. They had to check it down and get 17 yards, though, and now pitch it over to Scott. The kind of route you're talking about, but Artavis Scott in traffic just worked his way free and gets 9.
That's a run pass option with 3 receivers into the boundary. He felt that he had 2 that could block. See all those receivers? Just gets it out. It's either a run or a pass, and because he has 2 blockers to pick up blocks for Scott, he gets the ball out quickly and picks up some big yards.
And that will end the third quarter. 10 points for Bama in the third quarter to build that lead back to 10, but the Tigers threatening to cut into it. 1 quarter left to play in the college football season. O.J. Howard touchdown puts Bama up, but the Tigers are threatening. End of 3. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. If the Tigers are going to dethrone Alabama and win their first championship since '81, another fourth quarter comeback will be called for. This is the team that entered the fourth quarter down 8 at home against Louisville, held on in a classic game, down 8 at Florida State, came back to win. Scarborough is back, walking to the Alabama sideline. That's good news, but it's Watson and the Tigers threatening with a 2nd and 1 from the 8 as we begin the final quarter.
Mike Williams at the bottom of the screen, a target down here and an option.
A fake jet sweep, a fake option, and a keeper for a first and goal.
There's a lot going on there.
It was.
You know, that's their offense. The fake jet sweep catches some of the eyes, but I think the fake pitch to Gallman got the linebackers out of that tight area between the guards. And that's why he was able to pick up enough room there for that first down.
And a powerful run. For once, you saw Foster knocked back by Watson that time. First and goal. Gallman. Not much. Evans and others on the stop.
That's the 73rd play for the Clemson offense as we're just starting the fourth quarter. Tony Elliott telling us the goal is around 80 plays. Wearing down an Alabama defense is part of the plan in the fourth quarter. It's a defense from Bama that is incredibly talented, but doesn't have the depth that they've had in the past.
They ran 90 plays a year ago, tracking toward that. You're right, against the defense not as deep. Watson for the end zone. Williams, touchdown. He is the premier red zone receiving weapon in college football, targeted so often and so many touchdowns, 11 now this season.
Watch Jordan Leggett, Chris, on a pick or a screen. He's going to run into not only his defensive back, but he affects Minkah Fitzpatrick. Does a good job of making it look as if he's going out for the route to try to sell it, but does a better job of affecting Marlon Humphrey and Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was man-to-man that time with Mike Williams.
Here's Hugel. Selling is what you have to do because it's a pick or a rub, depending on whether you're an offensive or defensive guy, right? Yeah. But you're right, he knocked into two guys. And big number 7 has had a rough start to this night. Gets in the end zone. Tigers back within 3.
Watson and Nick Saban was not very excited about that call, that no call there on the pick. He's yelling a pick. What about the pick? That's on the heels of, remember, Deion Kane pushing off on a couple of those back shoulder throws. Nick Saban fired up right now down there.
Pooch kick by Hugel. Henschkes again for the second time tonight comes up to make the catch. But Scarborough not in there. They must rely on Damian Harris at tailback. He's got it. Spins and earns a few yards.
Chris, I don't want to say that Damian Harris isn't capable, because he is. He's a 1,000-yard back in the SEC for Alabama. He's a good back. But I just feel that Bo Scarborough coming into this game has been running not only with confidence, but with a power that this offensive line and this offense has been able to kind of get behind. And it's become their identity coming into this game and in the first half. And to take him out, it's got a different feel without him in there.
He's in the tent, not in the game at the moment. On 2nd and 7. Hurts rolls from an empty backfield, is pressured, and has to just throw it downfield. Dieter had no chance to make a play. In fact, the Clemson assistant there with a headset went and made the catch. Well, receiver had no chance to stretch.
The play never had a chance. The guys were completely covered downfield. It almost felt like he was rolling out. That's good effort. Almost felt like he was rolling out to run the ball. But the play, as far as the pass game, never had a chance at all.
They need 7 to end their third down futility here. Looking deep for Stewart. Once again, he shoots it over the head of the receiver. Had no chance to make a play.
Yeah, it's just throwing it and hoping. But it's safe. You got a 3-point lead. Under 7 minutes to go. You got a defense you believe in. That's Steve Sarkisian saying, you know what? Let's not lose the game. Let's not take a chance. Just throw one up. Throw it as far as you can.
I would question the throw, not the call. I mean, this is a Clemson team that has more defensive holding and pass interference penalties than anybody in FBS by 5.
Yep.
And they haven't been able to create that because the ball is constantly overthrown.
Alabama's not been able to draw many pass interference this year either.
Scott gets it away. Artavis Scott again tried to make a fair catch. The ball bounced. He couldn't get to the ball as one of the coverage men kind of got in his way. And it rolls dead all the way down at the 12-yard line. How many more chances will this Clemson offense have to reclaim the lead? Gallman in the flat. Gets a block. And hops back. Close to a first down to the 21.
Good tough running. It's an extension of their running game. Get the ball out into the flat, into the perimeter where he has a little bit of wiggle room. It's been very tough for him to be able to run under 3 yards a carry tonight. So you get him outside where he can catch the ball and have a little bit of room to try to make people miss.
They fake it to McLeod. And Watson with the keeper, shoved out by Harrison. It's a first down. 6 minutes to play.
We have talked so much tonight about Steve Sarkisian and the Alabama offense. And often when you're the defensive coordinator in Tuscaloosa, we talk about Nick Saban. But Jeremy Pruitt's experience against a Clemson offense has to be coming into play tonight in the way they've been calling this defense. They've simplified, and they're playing much faster tonight than they did a year ago.
Watson delivers, Leggett again finds a little crease, and DeShaun gets it to him out across the 40.
Kind of what Alabama had success with earlier. Kind of fake that little quick throw to Mike Williams, fool the defense, and then sneak that ball between the corner Everett and the safety Ronnie Harrison. Quick throw there before the safety can come over. Great recognition there by DeShaun Watson.
Out of the game at the moment is Jonathan Allen, the Bednarik Award winner. And Watson loops it for Williams, who goes up and makes a huge grab at the 30. Showing the big body and the hand strength.
Former basketball player, body control and ball skills. How he goes up and high points the ball. We have a flag down late. Clemson reacting as if it may be on one of the linemen right after the play as Clemson's trying to go tempo.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 94. The 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
So Deron Payne flagged, lost his cool, and that'll move the Tigers 15 yards closer to a potential go-ahead touchdown. Moves it all the way to the 16.
A mental error, and something you don't see from Alabama defense very often. Payne this time the culprit, and not only the big gain, but with the penalty on top of it. 4 plays, 72 yards, a minute 5. They're inside the 20.
With the Tigers 16 yards away from taking the lead. Watson, keeper. Navigates to the edge and leaps toward the pylon. Spotted out just short. Given everything he's got again tonight, DeShaun Watson.
Gosh, what an effort by Watson. The only reason they didn't call it a touchdown is the ball is in his right arm. He gets pushed out of bounds. If the ball's in his left hand, he might be able to reach for the pylon, but with the ball in his right arm, he's out of bounds. It's not where his feet are, it's where the ball is.
AT&T pylon cam getting banged up again tonight as it did in the championship game a year ago. Gallman leaps, but a flag. There was movement before the snap. Gallman dove into the end zone.
Offside. Defense, number 28. Lined up in the neutral zone. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Gallman scores a masterful drive by the quarterback and a mental mistake by Alabama to help that drive, and Clemson is on top. A PAT away from a 4-point lead, their first lead of this championship game. It's an important PAT for Hugel, and the snap was handled by Seth Ryan very well. Clemson, a couple of fourth-quarter touchdowns have put Jalen Hurts and the Tide behind now.
What a big drive. The 6 plays, 88 yards. The big play by a 26-yard gain by Mike Williams. The 15-yard penalty in the back end of that against Deron Payne, where he kind of loses his cool, gets caught up in an altercation there with Taylor Hearn, swings at the face, costs him 15 yards on top of the catch. Gives Clemson great field position. They capitalize all the way inside the 1-yard line with a great effort. Tremendous heart from DeShaun Watson. And the very next play, they're able to get a push right up into the middle and get the ball to their powerful slasher, Wayne Gallman, for the touchdown to give them the 28-24 lead.
Now, we've seen everything from Watson tonight. The command wasn't there at the beginning, but he found it. The toughness to take hit after hit. And the beautiful grace and athletic ability on plays like that one. And now the best laid plans for Bama. Played conservative. Another pooch kick, by the way, from Hugel, and a fair catch. Taken back there at the 33-yard line by Cam Sims, one of the backup receivers. Alabama has not trailed in the fourth quarter all season long. And now in the ultimate game, need a touchdown. Hurts steps up, chased, and has to just throw it away. Dexter Lawrence, freshman on freshman pressure there.
He throws that ball away, and he throws it almost into the stands, but he's outside of the pocket area. And once he gets outside of that pocket area, you don't need an intended receiver in the area at all. He can throw it away.
As long as it gets across the line of scrimmage, right?
And that ball was clearly across the line of scrimmage.
Sounds like Death Valley in here. Very loud. A lot of traffic and a catch made, but a tackle behind the line by Boulware on Damian Harris. It'll be third and very long.
I'll tell you, Chris Borland is not only the most valuable player, this guy is so instinctive. Watch him recognize the formation, the motion. He's calling it out, and watch him go. Watch him beat the lineman because of the recognition of the potential screen. He knows his quarterback's struggling to throw the ball downfield, so he's thinking quick throws and screens, reads the formation down in distance, there to blow the play up.
Down in distance is ugly. They need 3rd and 16. They failed on 11 straight third down plays. Hurts running out of time. Running to create some space, lobs it back across to Ardarius Stewart, who comes back, makes a catch, but he's a yard short of the marker at the 41. What's Saban do here?
And Nick Saban has to look at this with his offense and the way they played, has to think about going for this at 4th and 1. Brings another tight end, doesn't hesitate. How about Steve Sarkisian? He's been an offensive analyst the whole year. Lane Kiffin's been calling the plays, and now he's about to call one of the biggest plays of his life without Bo Scarborough.
Harris slams forward, and the Tide keep the drive alive at the 48. They kept it simple.
Keep it simple, and you go right to the play sheet. This is what it calls for in this situation. We get to a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1. This is the play. The double team on the left side, that's the strength of their offensive line. They follow the All-American Cam Robinson, Ross Pierce-Baker, and they pick up the first down.
And a couple of tight ends also blocking on the left side. Inside of 3 minutes. Hurts, backward pass to Stewart. He can throw it. Looks downfield for Howard, who makes a catch at the Clemson 30. A trick play dialed up by Sark.
We just talked before they started the series. Steve Sarkisian has probably kept a play or two back for this drive, for this moment in the game. And he goes to a throw from the receiver, Ardarius Stewart, to the big tight end that time, O.J. Howard, who makes another big play for the Crimson Tide in a national championship game.
High school quarterback, remember, Ardarius Stewart shows that he's still got the arm. They pick up 24 yards. Hurts now took a peek downfield and now just barrels forward, still running, in the clear, and scores! And the veterans' brilliance is answered by the rookies' moxie, Kirk, and Bama reclaims the lead.
A legend is born here tonight in Tampa in Jalen Hurts. When he pulls it down to run, he's a tailback. He's not a guy that's looking to get down. He's 6'2" and 210 pounds and can make people miss with how elusive he can be, but he's also pretty powerful. And that just opened up in the middle of that defense, and he recognized it and took off.
So let's look at that sequence. The 4th down conversion behind the strength of the offensive front, converted by Harris.
And in his own territory, late in the game, Nick Saban show he's willing to take some chances.
Now Stewart with the throw to Howard.
You've got Stewart, who's going to end up going out here. He's going to throw back and find his tight end, who's right here. Does a nice job of being able to kind of wait for it to get out in position to be able to make the throw. Ball is clearly thrown as a lateral. What an effort by Stewart to make the throw. And then this is just incredible to watch the linebackers clear out. Linebackers clear out, man coverage. Now he just shows you what makes him such a special athlete. Pretty good effort by Forrestal as well on a block to see his quarterback taking off. He turns around and picks up a nice block.
I was going to say, Hurts wasn't the only true freshman to make a nice play. That Miller Forrestal is a true freshman tight end who just planted the defender. He overcame a 3rd and 16 early in that drive from their own 26-yard line. They take it 68 yards in 2.5 minutes, but Watson's got time. Plenty of it. And Fuller tries to set him up in good field position. Oh, C.J. Fuller was in the clear and was just brought down by Tony Brown there, a saving tackle.
Wow.
There's a short catch. Leggett able to get out of bounds. Tigers have a couple timeouts to work with.
Important thing for that front four. Remember, we have Clemson now at 90 plays offensively. We've not seen a lot of rotation. Fatigue, mental fatigue, physical fatigue for Bama. Can they tough it out and still contain and pressure number 4? Get after him and not give him time to throw.
They bring pressure, but it's picked up. And Williams down the sideline makes another big catch. He beat Averett. And the Tigers threaten again.
That's a matchup you're going to take. If you're going to leave Mike Williams one-on-one with a corner who's undersized, notice how he puts it up in the air to give Williams at 6'3", who can leap up close to 40 inches, give him a chance to go up and make a play. Nice job of seeing that by DeShaun Watson.
Now they get it to Scott, who laterals to Gallman, who is hit immediately but stays alive. And Gallman spinning and driving down inside the 35. There was a lot going on there. A little trickery from the Tigers this time.
Yeah, throw out to the receiver, lateral back to Wayne Gallman. You're right. And then Alabama actually defended it pretty well.
It looked like the Tigers were saving up a couple plays for a big moment too.
You have 2 timeouts, closing in on 1 minute here.
Watson takes off, but will be dropped for a short gain. It'll be 3rd down. Ryan Anderson got him inside of a final minute, clock running.
Clemson electing to hold on to those timeouts. Worst case scenario, they're thinking about trying to get this game into overtime.
Boy, I'll tell you, they're not playing with a whole lot of urgency here, are they?
3rd and 3. He needs 5 yards to feel really good about having a chance to get it into overtime.
Long for Hugel is 47. He's hitting from that distance in warm-up. On 3rd down, Watson slant one more time. Renfro, and they have a 1st down, and they are in Hugel's field goal range now with 22 seconds to go.
Wow, to have a cushion there with one of their better receivers in the slot. They saved the timeouts and just fire the ball into the ground here.
Tell you what, though, they did wait a long time to spend a timeout and really create some urgency here. They want to obviously save 1 timeout for a potential field goal attempt, but I'm a little surprised they weren't looking more aggressively to win the game with a touchdown here.
Sure, at the very least, maybe a couple shots into the end zone.
Well, they can do that. And still the timeouts, but just 19 seconds now.
You got to believe they're going to have a safety over the top of Mike Williams, who's down here at the bottom.
A sack could take them out of field goal range. Bama brings some heat. Watson delivers. Catch made down inside the 10 by Leggett. 14 seconds to go.
Now Clemson will use one of their timeouts here. Dabo all the way down to the 10-yard line. What an effort, Chris, by Jordan Leggett. Full extension. Redeeming himself for earlier the miscommunication with DeShaun Watson. Fully extended, makes that catch and shows you for a tight end how athletic he is. I don't think that ball touched the ground. I think he got his right elbow underneath.
He missed a much easier catch and made a very, very difficult grab that time. Wow. Jordan Leggett has been the clutch guy. We talked about the game winners against Louisville, the game winner against Florida State, and a huge play. And now, we'll see. Hugel not automatic but it looks like the best Bama can hope for would be a field goal attempt in overtime. Let's see if the Tigers can win it right here. Williams to the left. Watson. End zone. Overthrown. Like it well defended that time.
It took 5 seconds off the clock.
Notice they put Minka Fitzpatrick on number 16, one of their best cover guys. 9 seconds, 1 timeout.
And Chris, that last play, Mike Williams is into the boundary to the left. Not only does he have the corner Everett on him, he also has a safety, number 6, Hootie Jones. So you're using 2 defenders to try to take him away. That should open up one-on-one opportunities off to the right, which includes Jordan Leggett, and also don't forget about Hunter Renfrow, who's in that slot in the middle.
Watson lobs it for the end zone. Williams is knocked down. Here comes a flag. Interference in the end zone. We'll put the ball at the 2-yard line. There are 6 seconds to play.
Force Mike Williams back to the inside, but then just grabs a hold of him. Everett pushes him.
Defense, number 28. Foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
He did a great job with his technique to force him to where his help is, where the safety is. But then once he gets by him, he reaches around his waist to hold him.
How great is this? This could be the final play of the college season, perhaps, if Clemson gets a touchdown to win it. If Bama can hold him out, perhaps a field goal attempt for overtime. Watson, touchdown! Hunter Renfrow. Little man makes another enormous play. 1 second remaining. The slot receiver, former walk-on, in back-to-back championship games has made 2 touchdown receptions against Alabama. They'll talk about that play in the Clemson Nation forever. Hugel makes it a 4-point lead.
They used a pick earlier, or a screen, and they go to it again. You know Bama's going to play man-to-man. Scott is going to work here. Renfrow is going to work there. And Tony Brown is the guy who gets caught up in the traffic as he ends up going to the outside. Right there. Man-to-man. That's the way you attack man-to-man. With a man beater, they roll him to the right. And how fitting for DeShaun Watson, after everything he has meant to this program, throws a game-winning touchdown to Hunter Renfrow.
Once again, one of those pick/rub plays. It'll be very controversial. And Dabo Swinney tackled by his staff. The Alabama graduate a second away. One final piece of business. Hugel just boots it along the ground. They fall on it. Clemson Tigers, new kings of college football.
After reviewing the play, the kickers legally possess the ball beyond 10 yards. The ball belongs to Clemson with 1 second on the clock at the 46-yard line.
That's fitting, Kirk. Send DeShaun Watson out in victory formation. Let him end this championship game and his career with a kneel down, huh?
Absolutely. And keep that football and put it in his trophy case. He has meant so much to the Clemson program, so much to college football. Talk about a guy that has done it the right way, graduated in 3 years, led this team the last 3 years to heights they've never been for Dabo Swinney.
Dabo will beat his alma mater, and Clemson will beat Bama for the first time in 40,619 days, going back to 1905. Official punctuation. Clemson dethrones and avenges Alabama. A sequel every bit as special as the classic a year ago. Alabama's ferocious defense had its way early. DeShaun Watson and the Tigers had the final word with a spectacular fourth quarter.
It's a party in Tampa, and the folks in orange are dancing to Jump Around by House of Pain. We know that Scott Van Pelt would appreciate that. The Sports Center is coming up right after the game. A complete wrap-up of this National Championship Classic as the Tigers dethrone the Crimson Tide. Let's get down to that party on the stage. Time to present the trophies and our buddy Reese Davis.
I don't know that we could have ever expected that the sequel would be better than the original. What a terrific game tonight. And the Clemson Tigers are national champions. I know a dance party's broken out up here on the stage right now, but here to present the National Championship Trophy from the College Football Playoff, the Executive Director of the CFP, Mr. Bill Hancock. Bill?
Thank you, Reese. First of all, I want to congratulate both teams on an incredible effort tonight. You reminded us why we love the great game of college football so much. And now, on behalf of the conferences and schools that manage the College Football Playoff, it's my pleasure to present the National Championship Trophy to Coach Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers.
Dabo, this is the moment that you believed would happen. You knew it would. You gave that vision to your team. What's it like now that you're experiencing and holding that trophy?
Well, it's a blessing. It's surreal. I love my team. I told them tonight that the difference in this game would be the love that they have for each other. I knew they wouldn't quit. And I talked to them about letting the light inside of them always be brighter than the light that's shining on them. And if they focused on that they'd be okay. But I'm just telling you, only God can do this. 8 years ago, Terry Don Phillips gave me a chance to lead this program. We set out to put Clemson back on top. We came up a little short last year. But tonight, at the top of the mountain, that Clemson flag is flying. And I'm telling you, these players, this has been the most incredible team I've ever been around. Y'all saw their heart, and it's been there all year, despite what some of those people say. And I'm gonna tell you this, our fans deserve this. 35 years since Clemson's been on top. And the one thing, credit to all of our teams, because all of my teams have a piece of this. They've been a part of this journey. It's been a heck of a ride. And everything that we've done once, we've done again. And so hopefully, before they put me out to pasture, we can do this a few more times. Go Tigers.
I think you've got a little while. Dabo Swinney, now the only man in the history of the AP poll era since 1936 to have a national championship as a player and now as a coach. Dabo, congratulations. We'll work my way down here to DeShaun Watson, offensive MVP. Another scintillating performance. Tell me what it was like when you led your offense back out onto the field after Alabama had taken the lead late in the fourth quarter.
You know, it was calm. No one over there panicked. You know, I walked up to my offensive line, walked up to my receivers, and I said, let's be legendary, let's be great. You know, God put us here for a reason. And, you know, it was just right to just, you know, sign up the story, sign up the end of the season, and that's what we did.
This terrific career that you had and ending it with a championship, even when you played these games in your mind when you're growing up, could you have drawn up a scenario better than throwing a touchdown pass with just a single tick left to win the game?
Not really, man, but, you know, the thing that was running through my mind was Vince Young, and I was just like, man, we have to be great, and I want to be legendary, so, you know, Vince Young was one of my greatest players that I love to watch, and we pulled it off.
Vince Young led his team to a national championship and a bit of an upset, and now DeShaun Watson's done exactly the same thing. DeShaun, congratulations. Tremendous performance. What a way to end his Clemson career. And now the defensive player of the game. He doesn't want to take off the pads. Ben Boulware. Ben, what is this moment like for you? As soon as the trophy was up here before it was presented, you were kissing that thing. What was it like?
I'm so happy to see the fruit of our labor, to see all the hard work pay off. All year, we controlled the input. All night, we controlled the input. We controlled our attitude, our mentality, our mindset, and we let care of the output take care of itself. And I'm so happy for our family. This is not for just us. This is for the Taj Boyds, the Stephon Anthonys, the Grady Jarretts, the Nuke Hopkins, Sammy Watkins. Y'all built this. Y'all started this foundation. And all we did is build upon it. And we finished it. It's been 35 long years. Clemson, y'all been waiting 35 years. It's finally coming home, baby. It's coming home. Let's go.
I think if you ever doubt what these moments mean to players and fans and the entire family, I think you just saw it with the emotion. Ben, congratulations on the national championship. Chris, spectacular game, quite a finish, and if this is any indication, it's going to be quite a party coming too.
What a classic. Better than we could even hope for. You get greedy when you think the sequel could surpass the original. The Knights did, especially if you're a Clemson Tiger fan. Tonight's game was produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For Kirk and Sam and Tom and our entire crew that have been with you all season long on Saturday night, we thank you for watching. We thank you for enjoying this classic. DeShaun Watson and the Tigers, 2016 national champs, and we congratulate them.